Hello guys, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you all to our fourth episode on our CSS3 tutorial for beginners. In this particular video, we'll be taking a look at CSS3 text and font. Basically how to style text and go through some font properties in CSS. So first thing first, I just created an HTML file which I named as order.html. Then I also have my CSS file. Then I linked my HTML file to the CSS file, which I just changed the background color to what? Black. By default it is white. Let me show you guys. It is white, but I'm just changing it to black for the purpose of this tutorial. Okay, and I'm using what? Visual Studio Code's live server, which in the last episode I took you guys through how to do. You just install it, then you could what? Open your file directly to your web browser, then anytime you make any change on your HTML codes or even your CSS code, then you save it, just automatically outputs on the browser. You don't need to manually go on refresh your page. You only have to just save and it will do it for you. Okay, so first thing, let's take a look at how to style text. So let's just have our first heading and let's just say web development hub. Now let's save it. Now we cannot see anything here. We could not see, our text is not output here, but it's there. Why? Because our background color by default, we've changed our background color to black, but by default it's white. So text color by default is what? Black. So black on white, black on black, you see, is not visible. But let me see, I can select, see I've selected web development hub. So basically it's there. If I change the background color back to its default color, see what happens. It goes back to what? You can see the black there. You can see the text color, which is what? Colored black. So all we have to do is we have what? Our H1, which is web development. So we have to select it. I took you guys through what CSS3 selectors are. So you just say H1. Then if you want to change the text color of any selected element, you don't say text color, because some will be like but if you want to change the background color, say background color. But why do you want to change text color and you wouldn't say text color? No, in CSS3 all you have to say is just say color, and the browser will understand that you mean the text color and not whatever color. You just mean specifically the text color. So you just say color and we are changing it to white. Let's save and we can see it here. Okay, we could also choose to change the background color or to give a background color to our text. So let's give a red background color to our text. So just say background color. Now just say red. Let's save. Now you can see a neat background color on our, that is what our text is on. Okay, what of changing the position? This is at the left hand. What if we want to center align our text? We can do that too. All we have to do is just say text align, then we say center, then see what happens. Immediately I save, is pushed to the center. We could also say text align right, then it will move to the right side. So let's just leave it at center. Okay, now we also have text decoration. Text decoration, we use text decoration basically to either remove an underline that is on a text, or to even give a text an underline, or to underline a text, or to have a line through on a text. So let's take a look. So let's just say it's text decoration. Now with the text decoration, let's say we want to underline our web development or our H1. We'll just say text decoration underline. Now let's say we can see a line beneath our web development, which is what meaning is underline. Okay, now let's take that we don't need it, we want to remove it. So what you just say is text decoration, then you say none. Now you see that it's gone. If you want a line through, you just say line through, then you save and it comes. Okay, So let's just say we are underlining it. We underline. But mostly it's not really advisable to underline some text. It's only links, because mostly links are always having underlines. So if you put an underline on a text, a user might think it's a link and will try go into it, click on it, which is a bad way of doing things. Okay, right now let's take a look at text spacing, how to actually space for our text. So I'm going to have a paragraph of text here. I just have let me just say 1150. Okay, let's save. It's there, our text is there. So all we have to now do is, let's come and say P, that's our paragraph, and let's change the text color to what? White. Now let's save. Okay, we can see our text color. Now let me open this on desktop mode. You can see that it's starting from what? The far end here. What if we want to give a text indentation? We want to indent our text, so we want to add some spacing between our what? This lorem is where our text is starting from the normal web page. So all we have to do is we just say text indent in CSS. That's what you say. Just say text indent. Then you could give any size to it. Just say maybe 50 pixels. Then you save. Now you see it has moved. So this is very good for what? Paragraphing. So let's say you want to paragraph. You say that. So let's say we are changing it to 90. You see it has gone far again. You could even change it to, let's say, 20, and it will slightly push it. So let's leave it at 50 and save. Then we have it neatly indented. Okay, now let's look at letter spacing, how to actually space our letters. Now our letters, so let's say just say this first, which is this lorem, LOREM, and all those are they are individual letters. Let's say we can actually we want to add some spacing, a little bit of spacing between them. So we just say letter spacing, then maybe let's just say 20 pixels and see what happens. You see guys, see how it has spacing which is very ugly, is looking ugly. Now let's see, we see how it is. So you can actually add some letter spacing to your web page. Okay, what of word spacing? We also have word spacing, where you can actually add some spacing between your words. We have lorem, we have ipsum, dollar, so you can actually spacing them too. So you just say word spacing, then maybe let's just say the 20 pixels. Now let's save. You will see that the words are a bit separated from each other. So it also comes handy. So let's save and go back to. Now we also have line height. With the line height, you just add some spacing between your lines. So just say line height, which you are going to say, let's just say 20 pixels. Then we have some spacing between our lines. Let's say 50 pixels and save. We'll see how it's. So the more we go, the more spacing we also get. The more size we give, the more spacing it goes. So let's take that off. Okay, now guys, what if, let's say we want to give some capitalization to our text. So I'm coming here to have another let's just say another heading. Let's just say H2. Then I say Codes Hub. Okay, so then go and change H2 color to white. Now let's save. Okay, we have Codex Hub here. Okay, let's center align Codex Hub. Text align center. Okay, this is in caps, everything is capitalized or what, then uppercase. What if let's change that to lowercase? Let's just say Codex Hub. Let's save that. It's a lowercase. This is a lowercase. Okay, so with CSS we can actually change it from what, lowercase to what, uppercase. So all you have to just say, you just say text transform, then you say uppercase. Now you can see that it's changed to what, Codex Hub. So let's say maybe you even forgot in your HTML code you did it as what, in lowercase, or specify that in lowercase, but in your CSS code you could actually what, change it. So it doesn't matter. You could also what, change it back to what, lowercase, and boom, it goes. You could what, also what, do capitalization, but with the capitalization every first letter of your words will get capitalized. So we just say capitalize, and let's save and see. You see C is capitalized, but ODERS is not capitalized, and H, there's the next word which is have, H is also what, capitalized, but the rest are not what, are not capitalized or in uppercase. Okay, this brings us to font. Take a look at what we'll be taking a look at what, certain properties of what, font or text font. So first thing, we'll be taking a look at font family. With a font family, you just specify what type of font what you want to use on a web page. So let's say that, and there are tons of them what available for us. So which, let's say we have what, we want to change the font family, let's just say of this H1 to, let's just say serif. Let's just say serif. Let's save and see. With a serif, what it does is it adds some lines at the end of what, some of the letters, and you can see there are some lines there. You guys should see there are just some lines there at the end of some what, letters. We also have what, sans serif. With a sans serif, it means without what, those lines. So when you say sans what, serif, then you save, you see those lines are gone, so meaning you don't want them. And if you are, you could what, if what happens is, if you specify one particular one font family on your website, some browsers do not have certain what, fonts installed. So if, for instance, as we say what, as we specify that our H1 should be what, sans serif, let's take it that I'm using Google Chrome, so Google Chrome has it what, installed, so it's there. But someone might be what, using maybe Firefox, and Firefox doesn't have sans serif installed, so it wouldn't preview, or the user wouldn't see that same way on his browser. It will be a different thing which might not look nice. So all you have to do is what, you provide other alternatives. You provide other alternatives what, to your elements. So let's just say font family. Now let's just say we want what, area. So when you specify area, you see with VS Code it gives you what, certain other font what, available for you. So let's just say, you see right now we have area, we have Helvetica, we have sans serif. What happens is, when it loads on your web browser, when you load your page, Arial first of all what, get loaded. But in the case that certain browsers don't have Arial, so those users, Arial font family wouldn't what, load. It will come to next, the browser will come to next, Helvetica. If you check to see if Helvetica is installed on it, then it will load the font type as what, or the font family as Helvetica. And if you check if Helvetica is not also installed, then it will go to the next. So it's good you did this, because you don't know the kind of browsers your user might be using. Some may be using Chrome, others too might also be using maybe Firefox or Spider Monkey or any of maybe Explorer stuffs. So, and then also, if your font family is actually not one word, like we have area, Helvetica, they are what, each of them are words on their own. So let's just say that it's not one, something like Times New Roman, Times what, New Roman, only this. So with this, all you have to do, you can even see that the text colors are even different. See, Times New Roman, you can see here that with VS Code, you can see that here is kind of pink, and here is light blue, if you say that. Why? Because it doesn't understand what you mean. It's trying to say that it's like they are even different fonts. So what you have to do is, meanwhile it's just one font, you add quotation, you put quotation to it. You see they are now back to the same color. That means that they are the same. Then when you save, you see it has changed to what, Times New Roman. So if it's not, the words are not attached but they are separated, you bring quotation marks. And serif actually, or sans serif, are actually mostly used on web pages because it makes users to actually read your text with ease. Okay, so let's look at our font size. Right now, Codex Hub here, which is H2 by default, the browser has given its own size into it. But if we want to change the size to the way we like, we want to change the size to our own way. Okay, so by default, if you don't specify any size, the browser gives a 16 pixels size to in all your elements or your text or whatever. It gives a 16 pixels. So let's say we want to change this Codex Hub, the size of it, to maybe 20 pixels. So just say text size. You have just say what text size. Just say what font size. Sorry guys, all you have to just say font size. You are changing the font size of your text. So you just say font size. Let's just say 20 pixels, and look at what happens. It has become a bit smaller. Okay, so what if we change it to something like maybe 30? It has become a bit bigger. We change it to 40, in that order. But if you want a default font size on all your elements, you can come to the body tag actually, then specify it. You could choose to just say font size, and maybe you say 40 pixels. You see, all the text are now giving all the elements will have a font size of 40 pixels. That's if only you want that. That's what you do. So let's say we are even changing it to 20. See, all of them will have the same font size, but we don't want that. Let's take that off and stick to this. Okay, now we also have EM. That's M, which means element. That's the parent element. So with the M, one EM actually is equivalent to 16 pixels. That's the browser default sizing. 1M is 16 pixels. Then 2M is 2M actually means 32 pixels. That's 16 times 2. Let's even take a look at this. Let's just say, let's open our calculator here, and let's say we have 32. Let's just say we have 32 that's 32 pixels divided by 16 what pixels. Let's save. So we have 2, so that means that that's what 2m. Basically that's what 2m. So let's say we have 40 pixels. So 40 pixels divided by 16 what pixels, you get what 2.5 what em. So what does this actually means? So in place of this what 40 what pixels, we have a 2.5 em. So if you say 2.5 em, they are still the same, it's still the same thing. So we just say what 2.5 m. Then when you save, you see it's still the same, it didn't change, it's still the same thing. So pixels and m's are actually what both use, but most developers what use the m, because with the m you give the opportunity or the chance for your users to also what, let's say if the text looks smaller to their eyes, they could use the browser what the browser dev tools to actually change the sizing of the text to their purpose, so that they can actually what see it well. If it's not bold enough for them, they could actually change it to their normal lesson, how they will see it. But if it's in what pixels, they wouldn't be able to do it. It's just going to be default. So you could choose to use m or pixels, but m is what mostly recommended. Okay, let's say we want to change, now let's take a look at font weight. Font weight, actually we are specifying the width of your text. So let's just say this codex app, we want to have, we can have font weight which will say what bold, it what bolden, our text will what bolden enough. So even when you just see the font, the font width rather, sorry guys, so just say font width, font width, then you say bold. So when you even type font width, VS Code gives you what alternative. You could give it a number, maybe 500, 600. You have bold, bolder, lighter, we have normal, initial, and what all those stuffs. So let's say you have what, we also have a font style where you can actually add certain style into your font. So let's just say you want to what make this particular size, what this particular text what italic, want to make it italic. So all we have to say is we just say font style, and we say italic. Now see what happens. Codex app is what being italic, is changed to what italic, which you are laying, if you use italic means you're kind of what laying emphasis on the particular text. So basically these are some of the ways to just use fonts on your web page and what style certain text. So but with the text you could actually use, there are tons and tons of them out there. So let's just say even this one, we are changing the text to maybe green or something of that sort, or even yellow, something of that sort. You could just save it and it's changed to yellow. So there are tons, so you could choose to use any color you want. In our last episode, or in our previous episode, I took you guys through how to about this CSS3 color. If you haven't checked that out, please check that out. So guys, thank you for staying tuned, and if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and like the videos if only you do like them, and stay tuned for more episodes, more videos. If you guys have realized so far we are just going through some basic stuff, I really want to take my time to actually explain stuff for you guys to really understand them under the hood, or how they actually work before we start delving into building stuff. If you guys have a solid foundation on these fundamentals, when we start doing complex stuff, it will be very easy to pick up. So you guys shouldn't worry, you want to become web developers but you are not actually building the website fast. No, this is how you have to go through. It's a process and it takes time. You need to go through all this what stuffs. Then you now come and combine that knowledge together and be able to build all kinds of interactive websites. So thank you for staying tuned. See you in the next video.